Waves and waves.
Oh, I thought this was kind of cool. All right, so I can't remember when we said it and when we talked about it, but we talked about it a little bit. I feel you, Brother Landon. So we talked about this a little bit, probably 2-3 weeks ago, and saying there was not going to be a release for the Nintendo Switch, a new Nintendo Switch Pro, or what a lot of people are calling, based off these leaks, the Super Nintendo Switch. I think that sounds dope as heck, right? I think it sounds dope. But a well-regarded Nintendo leaker, his name is Nate Drake, had leaked quite a few things in reference to Nintendo and what they plan on doing with the Nintendo Switch. But again, take this with a grain of salt. In my opinion, I don't think they're going to have a Nintendo Switch Pro released anytime soon because the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch Lite is just doing so well right now. Again, all my opinion, but take it with a grain of salt. But this is based off of a leaker that has recently leaked some stuff. According to the leaker, the new console will mark as a significant improvement on the original Switch. Performance-wise, it's set to be the first model to support 4K resolution, along with NVIDIA's DLSS tech, which is able to upscale image quality without loss of frame rate. I think that's really, really dope. Small handheld with 4K. That's pretty much all it is. It's a handheld with 4K, a little bit larger screen. Currently, Nintendo Switch is at 1080p, and then it's in 720 when it's in handheld mode. But I think 4K would be freaking amazing for that. But I guess my argument would be, do we really need it? Do we need a 4K Switch? I don't think we need a 4K Switch, like, at all. Why do we want a 4K Switch? I don't think because the game's already good. They're colorful. They're beautiful. I'm like, Nintendo, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Maybe give us a Nintendo Switch Pro with a larger screen or something like that, or Joy-Cons that don't have drift issues, or a new style of controller, or some new type of add-on. I don't know, but is 4K necessary? What I'm trying to say, necessarily necessary? No, I don't think so. But they say this upgrade is supposed to be dropping sometime this year, and that's why I'm like, ooh, like they just basically. And we talked about this before. Nintendo, when they drop things like upgrades 3 years apart, right? They with the Nintendo DS, they had the regular one. Then they had the DS Lite that came out like 2-3 years later. Then they dropped another one. So with the Switch, the Switch dropped in 2017, and then they dropped the Lite in 2019. And so I guess it's about time for them to drop another one. But is it wise to drop it during this holiday season when it's competing with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and when in their scarcity? I don't know if that's the answer. I don't know if that's a good answer. But overall, it does sound impressive, but I don't know what other thing that they could do that'd be innovative to say, hey, it's worth buying a Super Nintendo Switch. I don't know. Brother Lantern, you saying maybe a power bump, but 4K don't matter. Not as much as people want to make. Yeah, I got a 4K TV in my living room right now, and I can tell the difference, but is the difference a factor in my enjoyment of watching shows? No, not really. I will say, Yeah, especially on a small screen. I mean, some of our phones are able to see stuff in 4K and stuff. And I'm like, so? Now, if they said the Nintendo Switch, you're able to have a projector that shoots out of the, the docking station, so you don't need a TV. Or we figured out a way to do a hologram and you can play. It's in 3D, but it's a hologram. Yeah, I'd be with that. I think that would be really, really cool. But do we need a Nintendo Switch in 4K? I don't think so. I don't think we need a Nintendo Switch in 4K. And maybe 2022, holiday season of 2022, release it then. But right now, I had my Nintendo Switch since release, and I'm loving it. I'm thoroughly enjoying my Nintendo Switch. I'm thoroughly enjoying the Nintendo Switch lights. But even then, the light is for a guy that doesn't have a TV, or for your kids, and you're not playing the Switch on my TV. So my middle son has a Nintendo Switch Lite, but my oldest son, he has the regular Nintendo Switch. My wife does too, and so do I. So it has to be a whole lot better than what it is. It's like, yeah, why? We're talking about, you're right, Brother Lantern. It's like, we're talking about 8K. Why do we need 8K? Right. But I will say this. If you're watching WWE right now, WWE in 8K looks freaking amazing. They have this effect that makes it look like a video game. It's freaking weird. It's freaking weird. So like they're walking that, like if you see it in 4K, it looks nice. But I seen it in 8K. They're walking down the ramp and they do this shot where you see them in full focus and the background is out of focus, but it looks more like the video game out of focus, and it looks better than real life. It's really interesting. It's a really interesting look. I don't know how to explain it, but it's really cool. 1080p 60 on console is still rare. It is. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you on that. But man. But that's all we got. That's what we got for today's coffee hour. Yo, thanks for watching my video. I really appreciate that. Make sure you check me on Twitch, MD Soul, right there on Twitch, and also make sure you follow me on my social media platforms. I'll see you next time. Peace.